Hi, and welcome back to Finally Revealed. In this episode, I want to go through the PPP Paycheck Protection Program application. You can find it at home.treasury.gov. It doesn't matter where you're going to apply for this loan. This is the application that you will use. There is a 2-page application and there are 2 pages of instructions, but you have me, so let's do this together. If you have it in front of you, great. If you don't, then pause and go get it. Minimize me over here and pull up the application over here, and let's do this, okay? I don't know whether your bank is going to require you to have a wet signature, which means actual ink's original signature, or if they'll let you do it online. There are sections in here that need to be initialed, so there is going to actually be an original somewhere that you keep or give to the bank that has the necessary initials. The bank can decide whether they want that original or they just want a copy. So check with them. And then if you are giving them a copy, please keep your original just in case you need it. All right. So page 1, application form. You need to check at the very top. Are you a not-for-profit? Now only 501c3s can apply. 501c6s cannot apply. So 501c3 entity can apply. A veterans organization can apply. A tribal business can apply. Independent contractor, that's if you receive a 1099 at the end of the year from earnings that you have. And then self-employed, you would check any of those, okay? That if you don't check one of those, then it means you're applying for a corporation, an S or a C Corp, an LLC, or a general or limited partnership, all right? So if you don't check one of the top, then you better be one of these other entities. The business legal name. If you have registered a DBA, but it's just Joe Blow doing business as, and then you've registered that, use that registered name. The name of the corporation should be as it appears on your corporate filings. The same for the LLC, the same for the partnership, the same for the limited partnership. Business primary address. Put the address of the business. The DBA or trade name. This is if the business name is Mary Sue's Curtains, and so it's Mary Sue would be the business name, and then the DBA would be a trade name, would be Mary Sue's Curtains. If it is Acme Corporation and then they have a DBA for one of their subsidiaries or a product line that you use, maybe it's a marketing name that you use, that's what would go in the trade name. Then the business primary address, the business EIN, that's employer identification number, or TIN, tax identification number. So in that square, you're going to put the tax ID number for the business, if you got that separately from the IRS for the business, or if you didn't and you're just working on your own or a 1099 person, then you put your social security number there. Next to that is the business phone. Under that is the primary contact, and then the email address. As you're typing this in, it's a fillable PDF, and these boxes don't look very big. For example, I have giant long email addresses, and it'll squish to fit. So don't worry about it. Don't tab over, just fill it in and then tab over to the next section, and it'll take it. Average monthly payroll, look at the other videos. That is the average monthly payroll, either January and February 2020 or the whole year of 2019, or February 2020 back to February 2019. That's the number that goes there, and it's the average over the month. So if it's for 2020, it's added up, divided by 2. The other 2 calculations, it's added up, divided by 12. And then there's a place times 2.5, and so you multiply that number 2.5, put the number there, and then it says number of jobs. Number of jobs is how many people were working on February 15. If they aren't there anymore and you're going to hire one back, but you had 2 other ones, do the number that works the best for you. If you're the only one, but you're going to hire 2 more people back, but they've been gone since that time in February, then just put you. Do it the best way that it serves you. You will be docked if you had 5, and then when you come back at the end of the 8 weeks, you don't have 5 anymore, you only have 3. There will be a percentage of that amount that you receive that you're going to have to pay back. So do that accordingly. And if you think you're going to call these people back, their recommendation was contact those people, and if any of them say, no, I'm not coming back, once you get this money, I'm not available to do any work or be paid, because there's not a requirement that they have to do work for this period of time, then don't count them. Do it in your best interest. Underneath that, it says the purpose of the loan, and select more than one: payroll, rent or mortgage, utilities, or other. Other is the section. If there is something crucial to your business that you need to pay, put that in there just to alert your bank and have a discussion about it. This is primarily for payroll, and all of the items of payroll that I listed on my other video, and I'll put the link below. All of those items are called payroll. And so 75% of this loan is supposed to go for those items, but you can get a kind of a waiver for something really important, but you need to disclose it up front to just be above board. Then the applicant ownership, list all of the owners that have more than a 20% ownership interest. And there won't be more than 5, because 5 times 20 is 100. So there's a place for 2 if you have more than 2. If you have all 5, then you need to do a separate piece of paper and list the other 3. Next are 4 questions, okay? Is the business or any owner suspended, debarred, proposed for debarment, declared ineligible, voluntarily excluded for participating in this transaction by a federal department or agency, or presently involved in a bankruptcy? If you're in a bankruptcy, you cannot apply. If you have any order that prevents you from obtaining any funds from the government or any SBA loans, then you can't do this. Number 2, has the business or any owners or any business owned or controlled by any of them ever obtained a direct loan from the SBA or any other federal agency that is delinquent? This is important. If you have a 7A working capital loan already, please reach out to your lender before you do this application. Reach out to your lender on that other loan and get a deferment. Get a 6-month deferment. It's automatic. Just request it. That pushes off your payments. That way you won't be delinquent, okay? And then you can answer this truthfully, no. So if you have defaulted, if you've obtained a SBA guaranteed loan and you defaulted in the last 7 years, that caused a loss to the government, then you can't apply. So if you defaulted in the last 7 years, but you cured it and paid them, then you're okay. So you have to read these carefully. Number three, is the business an owner of another business, or is the owner of the business the owner of another business, or do they have common management with any other business? If yes, then you need to list the other businesses that are related. This is so that you don't apply for money for related businesses through this same program. It's one to a customer. And that doesn't make you disqualified. They just want you to disclose it. So answer that truthfully. And if you have a business that is a part owner of the business you're applying for, or you own another related business that does business or is somehow connected to the business you're applying for, please disclose it. You won't be penalized. They just want to know. And then number 4, has the business that you're applying for received an SBA economic injury disaster loan between January 31, 2020 and April 3, 2020? If yes, give the details on a separate piece of paper. That's because if you got one of those loans and it was for payroll, then you're not going to be able to get this loan. If you got one of those emergency loans and it was not for payroll, then not only can you get this loan, you can roll that loan into this loan, which, what does that mean? Forgiveness, okay? So that's really important. Include that on a separate piece of paper. So these other items that you need another piece of paper are going to add on to the application, but I'm just going through the pre-printed form. Next, we have 3 questions, and these are really important. So number 6, are you subject to indictment, criminal information arraignment, or other means by which formal criminal charges are brought in any jurisdiction, or are you incarcerated, or are you on probation or parole? Yes or no? So have charges been filed against you in any criminal matter? Are you incarcerated? Are you in jail? Are you on parole? Yes or no? The next one is within the last 7 years, for any felony or misdemeanor for a crime against a minor, which is just somebody under 18 years old at the time of the crime. Were you convicted? Did you plead guilty? Did you plead nolo contendere, which means they had enough evidence so you didn't fight it? Or were you placed on any pretrial diversion? Or were you placed on any form of parole or probation, including probation before judgment? Answer yes or no. And you need to initial both of those. When you put yes or no, then you need to initial to confirm your answer. And then you need to say, I am a U.S. citizen, or I have lawful permanent resident status, or no. And then you have to initial that. If you answered yes to questions 5 or 6 or no to number 7, you are not eligible. The second page, so that's why I'm telling you this now. I don't want you to waste your time if you can't apply. The second page says there are 5 things at the top, and it says, I've read the statements required by law and executive order included in this form, and I understand them. And that just means where you're eligible and where you're not. The next one is, I will comply wherever applicable with the civil rights and other limitations in the form. All the SBA loan proceeds will be used only for business-related purposes as specified in the application. That's why if you have something else you want to use, please disclose it. Otherwise, you can't use it and you could be prosecuted. To the extent feasible, I will purchase only American-made equipment and products. And that is for any replacement inventory because, and of course, then utilities, but utilities are going to be American-made or American provided anyway. Maybe a replacement cell phone. I'm not sure about that. I don't think that's what they mean. But because other items could be used with this, if it's disclosed, they want it to be American if possible, because that then goes to other workers. This is all about our country's workers. Then the last one is the applicant is not engaged in any activity that's illegal under federal, state, or local law. You cannot apply if you're in any type of marijuana business. You cannot apply if you are in any live sex business. You cannot apply if you're a member of Congress, in addition to these other things. Now, after that, there are 7 places that you need to initial. If you have more than one person who owns 20% or more of the business, each of those people needs to initial these. Those statements are, current economic uncertainty makes the loan request necessary to support the ongoing operation of the applicant. Everyone is presumed to be eligible, so initial that. The next one, the funds will be used to retain workers and maintain payroll or make mortgage payments, lease payments, utility payments. I understand if the funds are used for unauthorized purposes, the federal government may pursue criminal fraud charges. You need to initial that. There is no personal guarantee related to this. There is no collateral related to this. There are no personal financial statements that you need to submit. All you need to submit are these pages, any attachments for the additional owners and any other companies that you own, and fill in about any other property, and that's it. So don't sweat that. Documentation verifying the number of full-time equivalent employees. Full-time equivalent employees is everybody. Part-time, seasonal, full-time owner. All those people are included. So it's head count that they're using. So the documentation verifying that, as well as the dollar amount of payroll costs covered, mortgage payments, covered rent payments, and covered utilities for the 8 weeks after this loan will be provided to the lender. And you're going to provide it to the lender because you want forgiveness. If you don't want forgiveness, you can provide it to the lender you need to provide it to the lender anyway because they want to make sure you're not using it for something else. But as long as you're doing that, you should ask for forgiveness on it. During the period beginning February 15 and ending December 31, 2020, the applicant has not and will not receive another loan under this program. One to the customer under this PPP. And then the other 2 are, one says if you falsify this or anything in here, you're lying, you're going to be subject to criminal penalties. And then the last one says you acknowledge the lender will calculate the eligible loan amount using the documents you submitted. The tax document is your 1099s, your W-2s for a company, or your tax returns for 2018. And you're verifying that any tax documents submitted are true and correct copies of the ones that you sent in to the IRS. And you also understand that the lender can share that information with the SBA, including any representatives of their office, for the purpose of compliance with their reviews, which means if you lie, they can share it with the SBA to come after you. Then you sign it and you date it and you send it in with your document. So please do this. Leave any comments or questions below. Give me a thumbs up. I know I was talking fast. I'll put links to my other videos below here. I have a more detailed 3-video set on my other channel. I will put that channel information in the description below here. That's just for businesses. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Please share this with someone who might need it. Come back and see me next time, okay? Thanks for watching.